Well, welcome to this week's DroneCast. I am super excited to introduce some very special guests that we have this week. And we have the owners of Tejas Imagery. We've got John and Jeff. So, John Duncan and Jeff Carico. These guys are in Houston, Texas, and they do an amazing service. They specialize in real estate and high-end yachts, which is really cool. Also, all kinds of things with construction and inspection. And I don't want to steal their glory. So, welcome, guys, to the DroneCast. How are you doing?
Thanks,
We're
Damon.
good.
Doing good.
Thanks for
Fan-
having us.
Absolutely. So excited to have you guys here, and excited to hear about all the amazing things that you have going on. I mean, there's a lot going on, and some big impact you guys are having out there, right?
Oh,
Absolutely.
and
Cool.
it's fun. That's the part.
So let's talk about that, because I think that's something that I think a lot of people are missing out on in life, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
We're so inundated with all the stress, the news, the social media feeds, all the stuff that is not, it's all a lot of doom and gloom. And I think we see it more so now. I know that that's always been a thing that sells in media, but now more so than just having a couple channels on TV like we had a few decades ago. Now it's everywhere in everything. And I think people kind of get away from that. And when people are having fun or they see fun, they want to be around it, and it brings out kind of the best in them, or their true self. So what would be an example of something you guys have done? I think I remember you guys talking about a like an interview you were doing with a mayor of a town. What town was that? Could you guys share that?
Yeah, that was Shepherd, Texas. The town was Shepherd, Texas. We were doing the video for Shepherd ISD, and the Mayor Minton, mayor of Shepherd ISD, we had Mayor Minton in to do his little spiel on our thing. And what was hilarious is Mayor Minton came in with a pre-scripted, speech, and he sat there, and we captured him, reading his speech, literally reading his speech. And so we got that done with that. And I said, "Hey, Mayor, can I see your speech real quick?" So he handed it over to me, and I wadded it up and threw it in the trash. And I said, "Okay, let's go to work. We want this to be real. We want this to be you from the heart, not from a script." And by the time it was over, he was reading his script in Grover, from Sesame Street.
Oh, in the
Um,
Grover voice, you had
yeah,
he
the
did,
Grover voice. He did it fabulously. Yeah.
that is
So we were catching the real Mayor Minton, and really his heart, his true self, rather than the scripted mayor, and we really caught his passion for the city of Shepherd and Shepherd ISD. So,
That's fantastic. And when you do that, I mean, I'm sure like his constituents and everyone that saw
oh,
that,
yeah.
they probably never saw that side of him before, and probably connected with a whole new, at a whole new level with a whole new audience after that.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
funny. Now, what did you guys do with obviously you didn't air the Grover recording. What did you end up doing with that?
I'll let Jeff take this one.
Well, we had a blooper reel we put together for the ISD.
That's
That way they
brilliant.
could enjoy and laugh at each other. And, the really fun thing when we started doing this video with them was we just had a couple of questions. We had some high points that the superintendent wanted to address with what sets Shepherd ISD apart from others. And one of the things we'd ask them is, what's it like working with Shepherd ISD? And all of them, no prompting, nothing. The same answer was, we're a family.
Yep.
We're a family. And so we wanted to put something together to laugh and enjoy our new family with. And so, yeah, we put blooper reels in. Everybody gets uptight in front of the camera when they're not used to being in front of a camera. They're like, oh, I want a teleprompter. Like, yeah, the problem is you look like you have a neurological disorder because your eyes just keep going back and forth while you're reading the teleprompter. And so we put the blooper together for them. And one of them, they lost the microphone down her bra. So we got that on there for them. And once a few of those things happen naturally, they just relax.
Yeah.
Because now they're having fun with it. And that's the key in bringing out somebody's true personality. Is relax, have some fun. It's only pixels and electrons, so we can do again and again and again, not a problem. And after the first couple, they all relax, and it's a lot more natural for them.
That's awesome. Because I think that's kind of really the key that you guys bring to the table for your clients, right? Instead of, I see so many, and I'm sure you guys see them too. I see so many videos and commercials, and especially now that everybody basically has their own film studio, their supercomputer in their pocket there, and it's just that it's not authentic. And you guys get, you help bring out the authentic experience and make that a part of what their clients see. Because ultimately, I think the big challenge, and you guys do such a great job of this, of separating out the clients you work with from the pack or the competition. Because now, back in the old days we had the yellow pages, right? And you have two, if someone was looking for something, there were two ads, and if you had a smaller ad and a bigger ad, then it was their competitor. So like, oh, we need to do a bigger ad, and they were identical, and you could literally move the names back and forth, and all the services and benefits were pretty much interchangeable. And that's even more so now with all the different platforms and social media. And so I think the big challenge the end client has is, how do I find the right person? How do I find the best mechanic to fix my car, the best plumber, or the best realtor to sell my house or to help me find my house? Or how do I find the best yacht broker to buy a yacht from, for those people that are in the market for that? And that's, I think, from what I've seen you guys do, is you really help separate that your clients from the rest of the pack. And that's something that most media companies, they're clueless on. They just come in, customer's always right, and they just record stuff and don't really care about the outcome.
Right. And I think one of the key critical pieces that we try to do for our clients is we really put their needs ahead of our own. If they succeed, we're going to succeed. That's the way we look at literally everything. And we don't want to just show up and shoot video or take photos or create media for the sake of creating media. If you're not going to get a fabulous ROI from this, then we're all wasting our time. And if you get a fabulous ROI from it, then you're going to call us back the next time, and the next time, and the next time. So by us placing their needs ahead of our own, it really, I think that's what separates us from a lot of the other places out there.
Well, the other part of it is, when we talk to them, what sets you apart is you don't sound like everybody else. Platitudes are everywhere in marketing and in videos. My favorite example is from the movie Elf. It's the world's greatest cup of coffee. No, it sucks. It's terrible. And what we tell them is, can I take what you're going to say? We are number one in Texas with widgets. We're number one in Texas with golf clubs. And plug in another company, even a different industry, and then you're the same as everybody else. So let's get into it. Why are you in this business? And we'll actually take, for the video clients, and we'll take a whole day before we even shoot or plan anything out, and just sit down with them. What are your goals? What are your expectations from these videos? Tell us about your business. Why did you get into the business? What problems do you solve for somebody else? And we take that information and put together a strategy for them on the videos. So it's not just, yay, you make widgets, yay, here's your video. Let's get your goals in line with our goals, and or we will align our stuff with your goals, actually, is the way it happens. And go from there and put you out what makes you different. Well, we have great customer service. Well, everybody says that.
Right.
Why? And a lot of times we sound like a 4-year-old. Why? And about the fourth or fifth why, we get down into the real reason why. And so that is one thing that helps set them apart, which in turn makes them get a bigger ROI.
Well, and I bet for a lot of them, they've never really thought about that or even been asked those questions. You know, no one's asked them why they do that stuff. And I think that's really powerful. You guys are going in looking with ROI in mind because they are businesses. I mean, your clients, whether it's a car dealership, a realtor, you know, or even a municipality. I mean, municipalities, they're a business. They have budgets. They have to deal with profitability and deficits and all that stuff. So I think you going in there with that kind of mindset, and something you guys said early on about that you're, kind of a family environment, right? Like that. And you talked about the mayor of Shepherd and his family, and you're a part of that family, that you take on that personal ownership and that personal pride of making sure that the project is successful and your clients are successful. And success is determined by the return on investment, like you said, John. If it's whether it's getting more customers or it's increasing their bottom line, and I imagine you guys probably get quite a few referrals from.
Actually, a lot of our business has been built on referrals. Because to us, that's the best compliment we can have. Absolutely. Is when we get reviews, like some of the Google reviews we've gotten is, but this is part, especially in the real estate photography side of it, is they show up on time when they say they will. When we first started this, I never thought that would be such a big thing just because that's not the way we were brought up. If the appointment's at 3, you're there at 3, you're late.
Yep.
And so I'm like, you're here early. Yeah, that's fine. We want to make sure we're here. No stress. And that's the other part of it for the real estate is we want to make sure their client doesn't have stress and make it an easy process for them, because then it makes that realtor who's our client look even better.
Absolutely.
And so they get more listings and then we get more business. So
yeah, it's very much a symbiotic relationship. It really is. And I think that's where a lot of people get it wrong is they go into this thing and it's all about me, now let me help you. That way we can keep helping each other.
Yeah. Right. And for your business, real estate or otherwise, what do you want to do? Down deep in your heart. One, you want to make more money. You want to impress people. Because people look at you and go, meh. Nobody wants to be meh.
That's so true. So true.
And so, I mean, that business is your baby. You're proud. That is sometimes even more than you are some of your children. So, it's not you're wanting to impress people to be vain, but you're proud, of that busiss. You're proud of the service you give out.
I think it even goes deeper than that. Today, I mean, your grandma didn't lie to you when she told you first impressions. You never get a second chance to make that first impression. If that first impression isn't a professional, fabulous, impressive first impression, you're done. And nowadays, in these days and times, that first impression happens online. It happens on social media. It happens on YouTube or, on your website, yada, yada, yada. That's where those first impressions happen. So,
and you have 2 seconds to make that impression.
Yeah, and that's so true. And what we were talking about before with all these different things pulling at you, trying to grab your attention, that's gone down dramatically. We used to have, 30 seconds, then it was 25, then 20. And you're right, now it's around 2 or 3 seconds because it's too easy to swipe or click or jump off. And there's a million other things that can have our time. So that's fantastic that you guys do that, and you really bring out that uniqueness in everyone. Because I think the challenge is people are so used to doing what everybody else does, and then the problem is they get the same results that everybody else gets.
Right. I call that the entrepreneurial definition of insanity. The true definition of insanity we all know is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, for the entrepreneur and the business owner, especially, the definition of insanity is doing what everybody else is doing and expecting a different result.
Mhm.
That's the way I look at it.
It's a great point. And it's so true. It is
Yeah.
so true. And especially in marketing, that's what people do. Or they want to emulate a big company,
Right.
like Coca-Cola
Right.
or Ford or Apple or something like that. But they don't have the budget. They don't have the same budget. So it's a different strategy, different clientele, all those things.
Yeah,
So
I mean, Ford Motor Company, they if you have a multi-million-dollar budget, go hog wild with your platitude marketing. But if you don't have a multi-million-dollar budget, you better stick with what we call and know of as hot button marketing. You know, and you better connect with those people at a much deeper level than all about you.
right.
Yeah. And that's why one of our biggest videos for companies is a brand message video. It's you talking about your business. And we actually tell them, don't develop a script. If you want to make sure you hit certain points, do an outline. I'll make sure I hit these points. We'll put them up. And you talk about, because when you're talking about your business, it comes from the heart, as we've said before.
Yeah.
And it's much more believable than the spokesperson up there giving their 30-second. I mean, I love Lily from AT&T. She's great. She's beautiful. There's no heart. She's a paid actress getting, in and doing it. And then the other video we tell them to do is let's get some of your clients up there talking about their experience. And the example I use with that is Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A, it's a chicken sandwich. Okay. Yes, it tastes good. It's nothing I jump off, but it's the experience in going there that I'm treated with respect versus you go to other fast food places and it's like I'm in a position being there.
Right.
And that's what we want to get across to people in these testimonial videos because you can't fake that.
No.
Or you can fake it, but people pick up on it.
Yeah, people pick up on it.
It's impossible to hide it. I guess I should say you can try and fake it, but you really can't.
Right. You have a really good actor, but really, and if you're budget conscious because you're a small business, which we deal with a lot, those testimonials, you're not paying them to be there.
Yeah.
You pick your clients that had great experiences with you. And honestly, some of the ones we've had that were really good were clients that didn't have a great experience at the start, but they were able to show the service recovery that the business has when something doesn't go to plan.
Right. Which is life, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Nothing ever goes to plan, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you've had kids, you know that, right?
Yeah, I'm not perfect. Far from it. That's my wife. But that's the thing. What is the experience? Yes, something went wrong, but what was the experience when it went wrong? They made it right. And I'll go back because of that. Everybody else said they had a great experience first time around. I didn't, but they made it up. And now they've convinced me.
That's great. And I think that's where people really shine is when they're, well, I won't say shine, but their true colors come out, is when things don't go right, when they're under pressure, when they're stressed out. Tony Robbins has a great saying. He says, when someone shows you who they really are, believe them. Right.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I think that comes across in video and in marketing and a lot of messaging. And people spend a lot of time and money and effort and resources on those things to have not quite the image they want portrayed. And I think the other thing that is amazing and which is great that you guys have really monopolized on is the ability now that small businesses can afford to be able to do these type of video productions and include aerial imagery. I mean, that's
right.
Just a few years ago, that was only for the great big companies, because they were, 60, 70, 100,000 and more back then in yesterday's dollars, which were, even more dollars today.
Well, with the different, the aerial imagery especially, it's about perspective.
Yeah.
you know, perception and perspective. And, you know, my grandpa always told me, perception's reality.
Yep.
So when somebody can perceive added value in a company off that video, one, they're willing to spend more with that company. And once they get in the door and get that experience, a lot of people, especially here in the South, are very loyal to their companies and their brands. You know, and I will use Coke as an example because we're in Texas. So if you want a Sprite, somebody says, I'm going to go get a Coke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's really what we're looking for. And in a video, your current clients are even looking for videos from you.
Right. And a lot of them don't even know or don't know that the power, the benefit of what it can actually do for them, because it's still fairly new. The whole aerial imagery to most people is yeah, I've heard of it, or yeah, it might be something, but how does it really benefit me? And in fact, do you guys have any examples of maybe any real estate or land or anything that or a small business that you've done that has had a
So
result?
on the real estate side, that's really where the aerial comes in, because we're back to that 2 second. When people are looking at houses, Zillow, HAR, whatever they're looking at, they see one picture, the thumbnail picture. And in 2 seconds, they'll decide whether they want to look at other pictures. Well, when they look and they see the front of the house, oh, that's nice, that's pretty. But then they have an aerial view and you can see, oh, wait, it has a pool. Now I'm interested in looking and see what the rest of the house looks like, because I've got that added information that I didn't have, you know, from a ground picture, you know, from that one picture that you have 2 seconds to decide. So that really works well with aerial imagery, especially on the yachts.
Oh yeah.
That is phenomenal when you're, you know, chasing a yacht down the lake or out in the bay, you know, with the drone, and you're above it and people can get a sense for what that thing will do. Because unless you're actually on it, which we've had a couple where John almost got thrown overboard when the guy hit it, and you're like, whoa, you know, but you're there with it, you're following, you're good, like hit it, and the thing just takes off like stinking hyperspace in Star Wars is gone.
Yeah.
You know, that's really where you can see the power of that you can't in pictures.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that aerial really is so powerful on, is it's one of those things that the client, the end client, whoever's watching the video, they see that and it's just amazing, but they don't really know why. Like if you asked them, they wouldn't know that, oh, well, it's so amazing because of the aerial imagery. And I think the thing that you guys do, you know, because I've seen, you know, tons of your videos, almost all of them, and what all the little tiny things that you do that most people, they're clueless about, but they make a subconscious impression on their video experience. One of them, I think, is the biggest, is you bring people's authentic self out. So now people connect. They don't have that, you know, there's something about this person or something, you know, they don't have that. Also the framing that you do, the color correction, the audio. I know, John, you've got a massive background, you know, in music, and you're a musician, so you have that trained ear. You know,
Right.
I remember one time I was looking to buy some high-end speakers, and the sales guy is comparing these two really high-end speakers together, and he's like, well, these, you know, these particular ones are going to hit a little harder and all that, but these ones you're going to get more detail and clarity. And so he kept playing this track over again, and he said, look, if you listen right here, you'll actually hear the guitarist. You'll hear the pressure of his finger on the strings before he strums the guitar. And then he played, he's like, there, did you hear it? And I was like, no, play it again. And I wanted to hear it. I really wanted to hear it, but my ear wasn't trained. We probably listened to that track 20 times. I never heard it.
But subconsciously, I guarantee you did. You could tell a difference.
And I a couple times I think I heard it, but it wasn't as pronounced to me as it was to him. And again, that was that trained ear. And I use that example because in your videos there are so many little subtle things that the average person is going to be clueless on. They don't even know that that's in there or that makes a difference. But you make all these little 2% differences. You have this that's a 2% difference. This is a 2%, and now all of a sudden you have this amazing video that really portrays the message and ultimately has the end client spurs them to action or to swiping a credit card ultimately, which is what you're wanting, to do in most of these cases.
Right.
Which is fantastic. And I just want to applaud you guys for that, because I think, and I want to highlight that because I don't think most people know all the work that goes into making those 15, 20 little 1% and 2% changes in there. And because you guys take so much personal pride in it, that's what you deliver and you bring to every client, which is amazing.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of psychology in video. Well, there's a lot of psychology in photography, imagery. In general, there's a ton of psychology in it, and those little 2% differences, people may not understand. This makes me feel weird, and it's because of the psychology that's been put into that video. It's designed to make you feel weird, or it's designed to make you feel happy, or it's designed to make you feel like, hey, this is a quality product. Those little 2% differences do add up. Absolutely, they do.
Massively. And you guys do such a great job of that. So I wanted to highlight that. So is there, so speaking of that, where that has been the culmination of a net result, is there something that you had, maybe a commercial building or some kind of real estate that maybe sat on the market for a while, and then you were hired by, or a client hired you, and then all of a sudden your magic happened?
Yeah,
which one do we pick?
So yeah, we had a ranch that our realtor got because the previous realtor just wasn't moving. And so we came in, and with the video, the high quality HDR images, and our added values that we give to our clients, social media suite for them to advertise, all that. She got it up on the market, 3 days, had it under contract.
Holy cow.
And it had been months with the previous realtor.
And that's not uncommon at all. That is so very, that's, like I said, how many, there are tons to choose from.
Yeah, actually, one of the first one was my mom and dad's house. And so the realtor took the pictures, and they were awful. And I can say it because she's my cousin. And she's not in the state I'm in, so we'll actually use her pictures because she gave us permission when we go talk to other realtors to show the difference. Okay, I'm going to show you 2 pictures. You tell me which house is worth more. And we give them 2 seconds. First one, 2 seconds. Second one, 2 seconds. Which one? The second one. Okay, it's the same room.
Same house.
The same room. And, the only difference is I think a throw rug was changed. But it sat on the market for 18 months.
Wow.
One showing. And so I went in and, told mom, dad, mom coming up, I'll take the pictures. We'll do all the stuff. Got all the pictures, got it up. Within 12 hours, they had a call. Can we come see it tomorrow at noon? Yep. And so under contract within 24 hours.
Wow. And especially when you add the aerial imagery into it, that's just a complete, total game changer. Complete and total. When people watch high-end productions like HGTV or, stuff like that, and they associate that with real estate now, by the way, they watch that kind of stuff and they get used to seeing those aerial images. And if they're not seeing that in their real estate, I was watching HGTV this morning at the doctor's office, and I was like, oh, that looks just like one of our tours, because there's so much aerial involved with it, but people get accustomed to seeing that, and that raises the bar for their expectations. Yeah. So the aerial stuff is that's an absolute game changer.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, and on that subconscious level we talked about, because most people, if they're really in the house market and then they've seen the repetition of aerial stuff on there, but for other people that aren't avid watchers of HDTV and seeing that, where do they see aerial shots? in movies,
Yeah.
high-end cinematography. And that's not an everyday thing. It's people go to the movies, once a week or once a month or something like that. Now they pull it up and watch it, a Netflix episode or something. But that's
Yeah.
still subconsciously they associate that with super high-end, super valuable, super rare.
Yep.
And again, that translates to what you guys are seeing. And I think
Absolutely.
and I want to make sure that we highlight that it's not just for real estate, because
No.
all these same feelings, emotions, everything that is happening is whether you're selling a widget, like you mentioned, Jeff,
Yep.
or you've got a barbecue restaurant, or you've got a bagel shop, or a car dealership, or any of that stuff. All of these same tools work because we're all human. And like you guys talked about the hot buttons, and for those people that don't know what hot buttons are, those are basically you're directing what the client ultimately needs, their wants and needs. You're talking specifically to them, as opposed to just, we also mentioned platitudes, which is just a generality that can fit anybody. And clients think oftentimes it's about me, right? If you want to go, if you're buying a house, you're thinking about me. I want to know what's my needs, what do I want, and as long as that's portrayed and you can highlight that, then that's what is really amazing. And I think the power, because you guys do a lot of real estate, and that's a big division in your company right now, right?
Right.
Yes.
And with the market, what I love about that is aerial, when you add in aerial imagery and all these other little modalities that you're putting in there, these 1% and 2% incremental increases, regardless of where the market is. Like we're going into a colder, the market's cooling down, and then realtors have to have that to set them apart. Otherwise, things sit on the market for 18 months
Yep.
normally. And then when you get into a hot market, realtors, they have to have it because that's going to set them apart from the other realtors. And that's what's going to get the listing appointments. Because in a hot market, you've got, clients are like, well, I can get pretty much any realtor. It's going to sell in a couple days anyway. So it doesn't really matter. But the realtors that offer these services, and now they increase their listing appointment conversions. We see it in Sky Network with everybody, that we see the average realtor converts about 20% of their listing appointments. So that means every 10 appointments they go to, they'll get 2 listings.
Right.
When they introduce aerial imagery into it, we see that jumps up to about a 64% conversion. So now they see the same 10 people, but they get 6 to 7 of those are now listings. And
Well, for our clients, I think it's actually a little bit higher than that because of the extra value we give them. They each get their own website. So if they move brokerages, that website stays with them.
that's a huge deal.
And so,
Wait, tell me about that a little bit. So
It's basically they have their own portfolio of listings, and we save all of the listings that they've ever done with us. They have access to those still, even after they've sold. Okay, so they can take those listings, that portfolio to their seller meeting, their client, and say, here, pick one. Just pick one of these. This is my portfolio. This is my standard. Just pick one and have a look. And they'll, like, when all of them say sold on there, and there's multiples of them, and they can just click one and say, oh my gosh, they're not cherry picking. They literally pick one, and this is our standard. It is super powerful, super powerful.
Yeah. And we tell them the same thing for our website, for our latest work, because
Mhm.
we're strong believers in you're only as good as your latest work. Ask Sears about that. But we said, you'll go to our latest work page. You may see a flipper's dream right next to a $1.6 million listing because we don't cherry pick them. They're there, browse, see our quality right there. And we don't cherry pick them like some companies do, where it's only their multi-million-dollar listings.
Yeah. And I think that's a great point. And it's great that you guys do that, because I think when you do that, if you don't have that range, then you could eliminate some potential clients because they're like, oh, they only do these multi-million-dollar listings and that's not a place for me. Or, oh, I only have a taco truck and they only do these high-end restaurants. So that's not something that I could do. So I think that's huge. And I love the fact that I know you guys have that on your website, and the About Us section is, you're only as good as the last work that you did.
Mhm.
And it's so true. And I think I, I love that you guys put that on your site, because I think subliminally that also forces you guys internally to always make
Mhm.
sure that you do the best job that you can. Not that you wouldn't. I know you guys are huge on that. You really pride yourself on that, but I think that gives a little extra motivation, kind of like having a personal trainer, to have some
Yeah.
accountability there.
And we've had a couple of those where, we were talking before about what experience did you have? Had to contact a realtor. Hey, I need to go back and shoot this one room in the house because it just wasn't up to the quality that we put out. And they're like, man, I appreciate that, because our quality reflects on them as a realtor as well.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so they were just excited. The homeowner even was like, yeah, not a problem. A lot of people don't do that. They'll just put it out there.
Yeah. Yep. And I love that you take the time to actually get to know your clients and their wants and needs, and then mold, the project based around that. Because sometimes, there are things that people want, and then there are things that they need, and oftentimes they're radically different, on different ends of the spectrum. And so you guys do such an amazing job of taking what they want, incorporating a little of that, but also weaving in a lot of what they need, whether they know it or not, to ultimately get the result. So that's and that's a huge blessing, and that's something that I don't think most people, it's hard to articulate that, but you do such a masterful job of bringing that out. So the clients are really lucky, the ones that get to work with you. That's pretty amazing.
A lot of times it's those intangibles.
Totally. Yeah, it's like we're talking those 1 or 2% little things that they
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, it's like a commercial. The doctor, he's okay, doctor. I don't want the okay doctor working on my heart.
That's a great point. That is such a great point. Oh man. So, well, I know we're running out of time here. I just wanted to ask you guys a couple questions really quick. If you had to sum it up, kind of bottom line it, what is the value that you bring to your clients? If you had to kind of put it in a tagline or a couple sentence, what would you say that is, when you work with someone,
Well,
what can they expect, as an end result?
as an end result, for one, during the process, because a lot of times that's the most stressful part for them, is we're going to be relaxed, we're going to have some fun, we're going to get the job done. The end result is they will be shown in their best light possible, whether that's real estate, whether it's an ISD trying to recruit teachers, or it's a real estate company wanting to show what they're about, their heart. We want to make sure their values come across in that video. Because people, it goes back to everything we've always learned. People like doing business with those they know, like, and trust. And when they understand your values, even in our brand message video, we want to make sure our company was on Christian values. We want to do the right thing. And we want to make sure that people are taken care of like we want to be taken care of.
Yeah. And that's, I guess one small way that we do that is we actually put a lot more money, into the deliverables, especially on the real estate side. We don't have to provide that stuff. We could just be like everybody else out there and say, here's the links to your downloads, instead of giving you an entire marketing suite. We don't have to do that, but we do that because we want to see you succeed, plain and simple, because if you succeed, we succeed. So it's worth it to us to provide a little more, to do a little more, and spend a little, maybe our profit isn't nearly as high as it could be, but you know what? It's worth it because we're investing into you, into your business. So I think there's a lot of value there that just speaks for itself.
Yeah, that's true, and it's so huge because I think a lot of people are so transactional nowadays. that they lose sight of, and if you just study business and look at, what's made Amazon so successful, what's made Starbucks so successful, it's the lifetime value of a client. And
Yes.
how do you generate that lifetime value of a client and having a client work with you for a long, long time? And it's over delivering like you guys do and providing immense value.
Well, and really our focus is more on the relationship.
Yeah.
We want to have a relationship with our clients. We don't want to be transactional.
No.
We don't want to be like those that, are just, it's a crapshoot on who you get or the quality you get. We want the relationship. And we do that with our clients. We help support them in their stuff with charities they are interested in, or we help support them. And like you said, build that relationship. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. You guys do a great job. Well, awesome. All right, guys. Well, I guess this kind of wraps up this episode. Again, thank you so much for taking the time, for stopping by. And is there any parting words you want to share with anyone? Well, one thing is how do people get in touch with you if they want to get in touch with you?
So the easiest way to get in touch with us is actually through the business line, and you can see it behind each of us right there, the 832-792-5040. You can also contact at TASimagery.com is a good one. And if you just want to go ahead and schedule a consultation for your video, those are free. If you go on our website, www.tejasimagery.com, at the bottom you'll see a Schedule Now button. Just click that, click for the consultation. It opens up to what we have available, and we want to sit down with you and go over your goals and how we can help you achieve them.
That's awesome. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, again, it's been an honor having you on here. I'm super proud to see all the work that you've done and or you're doing. And I just wish you the absolute best. And we're proud to have you in the network. By the way, guys, these are Sky Network Masters. You guys have earned the Masters Challenge coin. Is that correct?
Yes.
Expert.
Yeah.
Expert. Yeah. Expert. Yeah.
Expert. I'm sorry, the Expert Challenge coin, and that's an achievement award for the amount of impact and the amount of growth that they've had in this industry, in this business, and going out there and serving people, which you guys do an amazing job. So we're just.
And I got to say, I got to interrupt you for a minute here. Damon, we wouldn't be anywhere close to where we are now if it wasn't for Sky Network. The marketing training, everybody thinks it's all about teaching us how to fly a drone, and that's not it. The value in this stuff is the marketing training, and the stuff that you guys taught us is what we've run with, and we have every bit of that to thank for our success, plain and simple.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, that's true. I think that's one of those deals that's the want and need, right?
Yes.
Like you go into it with the, I need to know how to fly a drone, and then you realize, oh, this is what I really need.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is a huge thing. Well, yeah, since you guys brought that up, so what would you say, how would you describe your life, like before and after attending live training with the Drone Boss? Before I was blessed to have you in our lives here, what was that like?
So for me, the biggest thing that I came up with that really impressed me was out of 3 days that we were there, maybe 5% of the time was, here's how you fly a drone. The rest of it is, here's how you build a business. And I went wanting to fly a drone and, make some money with it. But what I needed was knowledge on how to do that. And so that and the support from the network has been tremendous. When we run into something that we've never done before, we can get on the Facebook page with everybody else and say, hey, anybody done this? Because I told them, yeah, we can do it. But now we're trying to, figure out how.
Yeah.
And that helped a lot, especially starting. And now we're paying back. We have people that will come shadow us for a day and see how we do and how the processes are. And so that's really what was the huge value is the training and support.
And you guys have built quite an amazing business, which is super exciting. And well, and so John, what was it? What was the difference for you before and after? What was?
Oh goodness, I can honestly speak for Jeff and I both because neither of us were in a good place before SEN. We were at jobs that we hated, absolutely despised, dead end, just trash, work your butt off, get dumped on all the time. Hate to go to work, hate to get up in the morning, all that kind of stuff. And we were both successfully able to leave that stuff. And we both do this full time now, where you get up in the morning and you're like, I wonder what's going to happen today. What issues, what fun are we going to have today? We get to fly here, we get to go there, we get to do this, and it's just a whole different. It's a whole different life concept, really. It is what it is. You go from just I have to do this and I have to do that to, hey, this is my life now. Sometimes it's like I can't believe this is my life now. So it's just amazing, and literally anybody can do it. Literally anybody can, if they're willing to, like you said, be told what they need to hear and heed that instead of what they want to hear. You just follow those simple guidelines and listen and pay attention, and you're going to get there.
That's awesome. I think when you just said that, it kind of all tied together for me of the need for fun. And I know that you guys, really bring that out in every day of your life, in your work, and you bring that to your clients, which is fantastic. And I think that was a spot that I think most people are missing in their lives. And so I'm so happy that you guys have found that and created that. That's just super powerful. So that is awesome. All right. Oh, and then Gina, I wanted to have you guys mention Gina, if you would, what's it been like working with Gina, and would you recommend that? And, how's that impacted your life, both business, professionally? I know a lot of that, and personally, a lot of that all intertwines. People think they're separate compartments, but it really, I think every aspect of it affects the other aspect.
So for me, working with Gina, because I've been with Gina a little bit longer than John, is really helped to get me focused on things. One, especially getting out of that dark spot, because where mine was, I worked ER for multiple years and I hated people. I
can't imagine that.
I know, right? And so it did. You were stupid until proved otherwise. It's just, that's the way I went through life. And now I'm back to where I was before, or not necessarily happy-go-lucky, but I'm a lot happier. My kids like me now. So before I was the curmudgeon. I really was. So better relationship with my wife, better relationship with my kids. Able to, when those things don't go right, stop, look at them, and find out it's okay to say, okay, let me look at it and I'll get back to you. Is one of them. For the business, some of the business training has been absolutely phenomenal. Being able to meet especially with like Trisha and Mark Stone, as an added boost to the catapult stuff, has been phenomenal. So it's great. And Gina does give you a different perspective. I had ER mouth. I would talk about things, and she's taught me that my wife was right. Words do matter. So
certainly can.
Yeah. My wife was right about a lot of things. So
that's awesome.
It's great having her as a coach.
That's fantastic. And health and energy, has that been any changes there or improvements or?
Yeah, actually my energy is a little bit better. I mean, I still like going back to kindergarten and taking an afternoon nap every now and then, but you know what? I can do that now. You know,
It's a cool thing.
it is a cool thing. And then to wake up from it and go, oh, because now I've had the rest. I'm not beat down. These ideas are coming. So yeah, it's been very good.
So you've gotten to design a life that you love, which is
Yeah.
really cool. That's awesome. I love hearing that. I love hearing that. And, you know, just the fact you guys have so much fun day to day and you're wearing big smiles all the time. It's infectious. You know,
Tonight we're doing axe throwing.
Mm-hmm.
We, you know, we smoked some meat. We cooked for the Women Council of Realtors down here. So we're cooked good food and we're going to throw axes. So
that sounds like fun. When is that?
4:00.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. All right. We'll get some clips of that. I wanna see that, or at least
we will. We will.
That'll be cool. And John, what do you do? What's your life been like after working with Gina now?
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. There's a lot of psychological stuff that you don't know. It's like you don't know what you don't know, you know. You think you're okay, but until again someone shows you what you need to hear, you're just kind of like, well, I never realized that about myself, because I was in a lot of the same places Jeff was, you know, and that I hated people. I from a lifetime of law enforcement and security, it's like, you know, prison, all this kind of stuff, you know, being working in a prison, you didn't trust anybody, you know, and that goes with you. You know, and people can sense that. And once you start paying attention, once somebody brings that to the forefront, you're like, hey, you know what? You may have something there. You know, and it's been a process to get rid of it, and I'm still not there yet. But you know, it's about progress, not perfection.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. We're all endeavoring, right?
yeah.
You know, and there's always up levels. I think that's the great thing about having a coach or someone that can see the things that you can't, because it's right in front of you there. So
Absolutely.
awesome. Cool. All right, guys. Well, again, thank you so much for being on the DroneCast, and I'm super excited for your business. And really, any clients that reach out to you, they're really truly blessed to get to work with you, because they're going to get the kind of attention and detail and caring and support that I think nobody else can provide like you guys can. So just keep doing what you're doing. It's just awesome to see.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks for having us. It's been a blast.
Absolutely. All right. You guys have fun axe throwing tonight. All right.
Yeah.
Will do.
Okay.
Yeah,
take care,
last time
guys.
didn't come out too well, so just saying.
Yeah. Keep them all there.
Keep them all there.